Welcome to the JW and Told Truth channel. Whether you're a Jehovah Witness or ex-Jehovah Witness or any other denomination, we always have rules to follow. But do all rules apply to every single follower or every single person within the organization? Well, this is what we are going to see on this video. I'm going to give you a very good example, especially within the Jehovah Witnesses, because all Jehovah Witnesses will swear by this statement: all rules applies to all followers within the Jehovah Witnesses. It doesn't matter if you are a governing body, the rules applies to them, as the same rules applies to all the Jehovah Witnesses down the bottom, the ones that they go to the kingdom halls and don't have any privileges, and the rank and file, pretty much, Jehovah Witness. All rules applies to everyone on the same level. But is that a fact? So we have Anthony Morris, one of the governing body's members. There are 8 of them. But this fella is itching to tell us a very fundamental rule within the Jehovah Witness. So let's give the microphone to Mr. Anthony Morris and let's hear what he has to tell us about this tiny little rule that they have.
We are addressing why and how to overcome unclean habits. Now, first of all, why overcome unclean habits? The God we worship expects this to stop. Let me show you a verse that you're familiar with, many of you, in Peter's letter, 1 Peter chapter 1. Let's read verse 14 through 16. As obedient children, stop being molded by the desires you formerly had in your ignorance. But like the Holy One who called you, become holy yourselves in all your conduct. For it is written, you must be holy, because I am holy. And this is not a suggestion, as quoting the scripture here in verse 16, it's a must. They must be holy, because Jehovah's holy.
So you guys hear it from the Bible itself. So it's not a suggestion that we all must be holy and to get rid of all these unclean habits. Could this be an unclean habit? Get rid of it. But this time we're going to talk about drunkenness. No, that book. So Anthony Morris, well, we know that he's not just a new believer. He's not just a brand new Jehovah Witness. He's a governing body. He's one of the leaders. And he was appointed as a governing body back in 2005. So he's been at the top for 17 years now. And, you know, he knows pretty damn well what are the rules. First of all, he makes all the rules that all the Jehovah Witnesses have to comply with. Otherwise, he also was a Jehovah Witness way back before that. So he's been around for a damn long time. So he well knows what the rules are, and he also knows what is expected from him, especially. It's like there's 8 million followers watching him, watching what he does or what he doesn't do, or what he tells them to do. So he has a very good knowledge of, you know, what is expected from him. So apart from that, he is an official representative of God himself, chosen by Jehovah the Almighty to represent him on earth. So that is a lot of responsibility. You have to conduct yourself to a pretty high standard if you're gonna be representing God himself. So my point is here is that he knows very well what the rules are, and he has to conduct himself very proper, obviously. So, but here is the problem regarding rules and regarding does the rule applies to everyone. So here is the problem. You will find yourself, if you find yourself in a lot of trouble as a rank and file Jehovah Witness, to the point that you can lose all your friends, all your family, and whoever you might know as a Jehovah Witness or as a whoever you know in this religion. So if someone might see you buying alcohol, and I'm not talking just one kind of alcohol or one bottle, 2 or 3 perhaps should be okay. But if someone sees you buying 9, 10, 15 bottles maybe of very expensive alcohol, you will find yourself in the interrogation room, in the back little room with 3 elders questioning you. Why did you buy all this alcohol? How did you manage to afford all this money? Are you spending the money properly? Shouldn't you be putting this money towards the more spiritual ends? And also, do you have a problem with alcohol? If you, why is this party need so much alcohol? Can we, other questions that they might ask is that maybe you shouldn't buy alcohol at all for the party because you might stumble someone at the party, so maybe you shouldn't buy alcohol. So yeah, this is all the questions that you'll be asked if you were a rank and file Jehovah Witness. And it's not just that you will be sent to the back room or to the interrogation room. If you don't have a very, very, very good excuse of why buying such an expensive alcohol and the amount of alcohol, you will lose all your friends. They will disown you and your family, and whoever you may know in the Jehovah Witnesses will stop talking to you. But what about a leader? What about a leader of the Jehovah Witnesses? So let's have a look at this video. I'm sure that you've seen this video before, but in case you haven't, let's go through this video and see what we can learn from it. So this guy looks very familiar.
I see you're a fan of Scotch. Do you know anything about Irish whiskey?
Yeah.
Oh, so let's stop it here. Let's turn the picture around. This is Anthony Morris. And let's have a look what he's got in his trolley. It's a bottle of Macallan. How much does a bottle of Macallan cost? $218 per bottle. That's the average price of a bottle. And let's have a look how much or how many bottles does he have. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 bottles. 15 bottles, $200 per bottle. That is $4,200. That's a total $4,200. But the question, that's not the problem here. That how many bottles he's got, how much do they cost? Well, let's put this in perspective, okay? Because there's nothing wrong with buying expensive alcohol and alcohol at all. Also, I work full time and I like my luxuries as well. But do you think, let's think this for a moment. Do you think for someone that is getting paid or having an allowance from a religious organization that is fully found by donations from the followers, and the followers are expecting that this money to be used in a good manner, in a spiritual advancement of God's purpose or whatever. And I'm sure God's purpose is not to buy alcohol, and especially high-end expensive alcohol. But To highlight my point is that to buy a bottle of $200 and let alone 15 bottles of them, that comes to a total of $4,200 that had to come from the Jehovah Witnesses pockets, Jehovah Witnesses donations, and maybe some little girls, instead of buying ice creams, they've given this money for Anthony Morris to use it in a proper manner. But here we're seeing that money is being used in an unholy way or in an unclean habit.
Yeah, not a lot. My wife likes it.
Yeah.
Jameson's always
Yeah.
popular.
I usually get Bushnells, but I don't know anything about these, newer ones,
Yeah, the Jameson's been good long time.
Yeah.
This one I don't know, but hey, that's nice to just test them out, taste them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been to Scotland
All right.
a number of times, so I just
Well, thank you.
Scottish and Irish, so I'm not prejudiced. But a lot of the Irish ones will say,
Yeah.
you got to try our stuff.
Yeah. I know I've had the green spot. That's very nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll just go with
hard.
I'll just go with another bottle of JMO.
You can't go wrong with it. My wife really likes that.
Hey, have a good one.
Yep.
So, some may say this could have been just paid by his own money. He might have his own bank accounts with lots of money that he can afford all this money in just alcohol. But he is a Bethelite. He is a governing body, and everyone in Bethel has to give a vow of poverty, which means that anything that they own is given to the organization. Is now God's organization. They don't own anything. They have to rely completely on the organization until they leave or until they get kicked out. So everything is given by the organization, and the organization gets all the funds from the donations. As we can see in the JW broadcast, they keep asking for donations. So we can see here that Anthony Morris could not have used his own money unless he's stashing some money that the organization doesn't know about. But for a Jehovah Witness, any rank and file Jehovah Witnesses that is not a governing body will get in trouble. They will lose everything if this happens. So to make it even worse, to gaslight the Jehovah Witnesses, he is allowed to give public talks and he seems to be under the influence of alcohol.
And then you start feeling, well, what a miserable person I am. A lot of spiritual food for thought. Of course, anything Jesus said is spiritual food for thought. Thessalonians, that first letter. So if you find 1 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 5, somehow, because he's always looking to somehow lead us into breaking our integrity. What do you think about now? So the dragon became enraged. Great anger is very good. Let's see, he's enraged And he's waging war with the remnant, as it brings out here.
The remnant, as it brings out here.
Even then, the recognition that we have to safeguard our heart. Notice what Paul wrote. Very familiar verses, get God's thinking. And it's appropriate. Elders use the scriptures to discipline. However, I want to emphasize here for you, when something hits you, because maybe you've had wrong thinking, could be all sorts of things, anything that could lead us astray and cause us to break our integrity, just face the fact.
Just face the fact.
And he just got scot-free to do whatever he feels like, with no consequences at all to this date. While thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses are being shunned, are being punished, and being taken back back to the back room, to the interrogation room, by just highlighting this kind of hypocrisy with this organization. So does the rules apply to everyone on the same level? It does not. Thank you for watching, and let's see what we can find for the next video. Oh, and before I go, I just wanted to say, cheers, Anthony Morris. The whiskey is really good.